Hello, my name is Rob Carlmark, and I'm a meteorologist here at ABC 10. We are an ABC affiliate in Northern California. Our TV signal roughly goes from Oroville to about Fairfield-Vacaville, down to Turlock, Patterson, and then over to Truckee, but not South Lake Tahoe. That's just a TV signal where we go. But of course, since this is online, you could be watching this from anywhere. So my forecast today is mostly centered on Northern California going into the weekend, just so we're clear on that. And we've had some really active and kind of weird weather, to be honest with you. It's been remarkably cold. It's been remarkably wet for the month of May. Just as far as consistency, each and every day we've had at least a little bit of rain, and then we're going to get one more shot before we move deeper into the weekend. So over the last 24 hours, we had some overnight rain and some sprinkles, even some Sierra snow, enough for chain controls in May. Now, that's not unprecedented, but when it happens, it's always weird, unusual. And the weird thing about this situation with snow in May is that many of the resorts are already closed. They have all sorts of different arrangements with workers, with permits, with crowds. Is it really worth it to open up a very expensive ski area when only some people are going to be able to make it, especially during the middle of the week? So a lot of their hours and areas that they serve are drastically reduced, if not closed altogether. So the extra snow doesn't really do that much at all, aside from just cause some road issues. So getting through our Friday, we've got some clouds here in Northern California. And yes, like I mentioned, some light snow. But this is actually considered a gap in between storms because we had one area of low pressure push on through. That's what produced all the rain, the heavy rain, the tornado in Southern California, along with more snow in the mountains there for Southern California. But for Northern California, this is going to be a gap, and the new system that moves in, it's a quick hitter. It keeps our temperatures down, and most of the rain is actually really convenient, especially since it's Cinco de Mayo, that we're going to have a lot of things outdoors, people wanting to do things, get out and about. It's also a Friday, and it's also going into the weekend. So it is a cold day. It's a breezy day with clouds, but the real rain chances don't really show up during the day. Mostly what we're going to be looking at here is rain moving in through the overnight hours. And again, just for some perspective, this is based in the Sacramento area for these numbers, just so we have a point of reference. Our high yesterday was 61 degrees. I mean, that is remarkably cool for the month of May. And our average is usually somewhere in the upper 70s. Our low it can be in the 30s or in the mid 90s. That's where we could be. And in fact, we were in the mid 90s last weekend. So we've seen a huge turnaround as far as the temperatures and the sky conditions and the possibility of rain. With that said, going forward, this is what it's going to look like roughly in our area. Most of the day cloudy, not a big deal. Maybe some flurries up high, but again, not a big deal. And then as we get deeper into the evening, this is mostly in the overnight hours, we're going to get some light rain. In fact, we're going to have some rain through much of the night. It's going to be on and off, but it lasts all the way until early Saturday morning. Now, usually when we talk about rain in California, it's a good thing. Oh, we're getting the much needed rain, or we can't wait for it to rain, or I love it. But at this point, honestly, folks, when it's May and we've had a huge monster season, a lot of people are just waiting for this to sort of move along. And I do think for most people locally, Saturday afternoon, we should be in the clear. But since it rained overnight and also snowed overnight, you're going to have road issues, number one. And then number two, for some of the sporting events like kids baseball or softball, they may not be able to happen according to the condition of the fields if they're wet. This is all a local call, but that may be something that's delayed or canceled strictly because of the overnight rain. So we're not expecting all that much. I would say a 1/10 to a 1/4 inch overnight and maybe 1/2 inch of either rain and then 6 inches of snow in the mountains. But that's a pretty decent shot of moisture considering we're so early in May. Now your Saturday, like I mentioned, a little bit in the morning, then clearing. Sunday looks great. I mean, 70 degrees, that is just perfect. And then watch the temperatures ramp back up into the 90s for next weekend.